Welcome to Headlines Simsbury. I'm Karen Hanville. In an effort to educate the community about the road surfacing being done in Simsbury, Tom Roy, Director of Public Works, explains the process being used today and what you can expect if paving is being done on your street this summer. Here's a close-up look at the first step in the process.
Today we're out here on Arrowhead Drive in Simsbury, and what we're doing is called heat scarification. It's a process we use here in Simsbury where we actually recycle the existing roadway, and that way it can be used to make a stronger roadway base so that when we overlay it later this summer, we'll have a total thicker layer of asphalt which will last much longer. If you can come with me and look over here, you can see that over time this roadway has been overlaid with a thin layer of asphalt. That thin layer is now cracked and broken up. And what we're doing today with this large equipment behind us is we're going to make 3 passes with these large trucks. They're shooting down propane onto the roadway to reheat, essentially melting the existing inch and a half. They're going to then mix it with new fresh liquid asphalt, and we're going to put it back down on the roadway. We're going to roll it and compact it tight, and that's now actually going to be a base for our final product, which we'll do later this summer. You can see this side has already been done. This was done yesterday. It looks like a final product, but we're going to end up putting a 1-inch layer of traditional asphalt on the top. The one thing that we have to do is in between our 2 processes is all of the drainage structures on the roadway that collect the rainwater. We're going to have to reconstruct any of these that look like they're in poor condition. The last thing we want to do is to put in this much effort to reconstruct the town's roadway and then within a year or 2 have a structure like this fail, requiring us to dig it up. So a lot of times with this 2-step process, residents will see us in and they'll wonder why we're coming back to dig it up. We found that it works best to dig it up between the 2 processes so we can make sharp roadway cuts, so when we patch where we do our excavation, it'll blend in seamlessly with the final product. All of this loose asphalt is basically what came out of this hole as part of our cleaning operation before this work. This wasn't quite this bad. The reason we're leaving this asphalt here is as the trucks come down, again, this is something that's going to get picked up, reheated, and put back down into the final base that we're working on constructing today. One of the minor challenges that we have with this type of work is that we have to be careful. It puts out a lot of heat. As you can see now, they're hosing off any of the tree limbs that are low and over the roadway. If a tree limb is too low, it may be singed, in which case we come back and do some trimming. Sometimes the first couple inches of grass may get damaged, but it's all part of this process. We do our best to minimize the impact to the residents, but there are always going to be some small challenges with this type of construction in an urban setting. This is the same area that we were at just a few minutes ago before the heavy equipment went through. At this point, all of the asphalt's been heated up. It's been mixed with new fresh liquid asphalt. The crews have placed it back down. It's still loose. And in another minute or so, we're going to be having the rollers coming through right now. It's going to compact it down so that that'll finalize this first step in our 2-step paving process.
Liz Banco is here to update you about the cell phone walking tour on Hot Meadow Street.
Hi, I am Elizabeth Banco, co-chair of the Simsbury Tourism Committee. I would like to invite you to take a cell phone walking tour of Hot Meadow Street to learn about the history and architecture of our downtown. There are currently 11 sites on the tour, each with a sign and a map, beginning with the former Webster Bank building on the south end and finishing with the Simsbury Town Shops to the north. Did you know that that building housed the first private automobile in town? Maps are available at Town Hall and the library. It is easy to follow. Simply dial 860-323-9029 on your cell phone and follow the prompts. If you find yourself without a phone, there is plenty of information on each sign to read. Some sites, such as Ena Memorial Hall, are landmark buildings on the National Register, while others, like the Courtyard or Mall Way, was the site of a stable and carriage house for the Ensign estate. This tour was the work of many volunteers, including the Simsbury Tourism Committee, several town officials and their summer intern, the Simsbury Chamber of Commerce, the Simsbury Main Street Partnership, and the Simsbury Historical Society. We hope to continue to add more stops in the future and more detailed information about the Historical Society complex and the Simsbury Cemetery, which already has its own walking tour. We are adding a box of maps outside the Performing Arts Center and Rotary Park, since there is so much foot and bike traffic in that area. The brochures highlight not only the walking tour, but list current restaurants and places to stay, even some spots not strictly in the defined area, like our wonderful Flower Bridge, Abigail's Historic Restaurant, the Pinchot Sycamore, and the Tobacco Barns in the North End. There's really so much of interest in our downtown center. Why not spend an afternoon reacquainting yourself with it by walking the walk? Take the cell phone walking tour along Hot Meadow Street with friends and visitors and take a stroll back into history.
For the second show in the Talcott Mountain Music Festival series, the Hartford Symphony Orchestra returns to the Performing Arts Center for Celebrate America, a red, white, and blue tradition on Wednesday, July 3rd at 7:30 p.m. with a rain date of Friday, July 5th. Remember that no Independence Day celebration would be complete without fireworks. For ticket information, please call the Hartford Symphony office at 860-244-2999, or you can visit them online at hartfordsymphony.org. This year, the Performing Arts Center on Iron Horse Boulevard will feature summer concerts in addition to the well-known Talcott Mountain Music Festival series by the Hartford Symphony Orchestra. An important distinction needs to be made in order for everyone to have an enjoyable experience at this venue. The Performing Arts Center concerts are put on by the performers' promoters, so the rules are different from the Talcott Mountain Music Festival series concerts regarding food and beverages. Please note that coolers, food, and beverages will not be allowed in the gate at the PAC concerts. The promoters of the PAC events will have food and beverage vendors in the venue, just as you would find at other concert locales. Hopefully you've had a chance to get out your grill a few times in between all the rain we've had, and Melissa Brett has the information you need to keep it working all season.
Hello, my name is Melissa Brett. My husband John and I own and operate Weldon Hardware here in the center of Simsbury on Station Street, right across the parking lot at Eno Hall and these SCTV studios. Today, I'm going to answer a few questions from our customers and viewers about how to take care of your propane gas grill. We've been selling and servicing grills for many years, and many grill owners don't realize that there are maintenance tasks that should be done every year. So the first question is from Julie. She asks, I see what I think is peeling paint inside the lid of my grill. What should I do? Julie, don't worry, it's not paint. The inside surfaces of grill lids are not painted. They are either stainless steel or are coated with baked-on porcelain enamel, which cannot peel. What you are noticing is a deposit of grease and smoke that collects during normal use. During use, the grease and smoke vapors slowly oxidize into carbon and collect on the inside of your lid. This deposit will eventually peel and look very similar to paint. The peeling normally starts in the center of the lid and spreads outward. It may come off in sheets or flakes, shiny on one side and dull on the other. These carbon deposits are not toxic, but you might want to remove them regularly to prevent the buildup. Fortunately, the peeling is easy to remove. Simply brush off all the loose particles with a brass brush before you start grilling. To prevent future buildup, after every grilling session, while the grill lid is warm, not hot, wipe it with paper towels or a mild soap and water solution. The next question is from George, and he asked, my gas grill won't get hotter than 300 degrees, even with all the burners on. Why? Well, for over 16 years, all regulators, the part that attaches to the gas tank to regulate the flow of gas, have included a safety device that restricts the flow of gas in the event of a gas leak. This safety device can be inadvertently activated in two ways, putting the grill into what is commonly called bypass. The first way for the device to be activated is to leave one or more burners in the on position when the propane tank valve is opened. The second way is to not wait long enough to start the grill after opening your propane tank. The safety device in the regulator is activated every time the tank valve is opened. So the device resets itself when the gas pressure equalizes between the closed burner control valve and the regulator through the hose. So if a burner knob is turned on before the gas pressure can equalize, the device will remain in bypass. The length of time necessary to wait to start the grill after turning on the tank valve is dependent on the length of your hose and the outside air temperature. Now keep in mind that the safety device reacts to a gas leak. If the grill is in bypass, the gas connections and hose should be tested for leaks with a soap and water solution. And if the grill is in bypass, after checking all the gas leaks, follow these easy, simple steps to get the grill out of bypass. You should also use these steps every time you start your grill. First, close your propane tank valve. Turn all the burner control knobs to the off position. Make sure you check your side burner knob too if you have one. Now, starting the grill, open your lid, turn the propane tank valve until it's completely open. Wait at least 10 seconds. If it's below 32 degrees, wait even up to 20 seconds. Turn on your front burner to the high or start position. Press your igniter and the burner's lit. Turn on all the remaining burners to high and close your lid. Your grill should now preheat to 500 to 550 degrees in about 10 minutes. If this doesn't work and your regular hose is not leaking, you may need to replace the regulator. This is a very simple process. All you need is an adjustable wrench to remove the hose from the grill and put on a new one. Going forward, make sure you turn off all the burner knobs when you are done grilling. Then you should close the propane tank valve every time. The final question for today is from Jack, and he inquired, "My neighbor's grill caught on fire after storing it for the winter. He cleans his grill after every use. What happened?" Well, Jack, most people don't know that almost all gas grills have a spider or insect screen that need to be inspected and cleaned at least once a year. We have had several customers who never did this and had what is called a flashback, which is very dangerous and can cause your grill to flame up on the outside. To inspect the spider or insect screens, you will need to be able to access the burners. You may need to remove the cover panel of your grill. In the picture you see here, you can see the end of a burner tube with some screening around it. That is your insect screen. If there is dust or dirt on the screens, remove the burners to clean the screens, which is usually attached with 1 or 2 screws. Lightly brush the insect screens with a soft bristle brush, such as an old toothbrush. Do not clean the insect screens with hard or sharp tools, and do not dislodge those screens or enlarge the openings. Lightly tap the burners to get the debris and dirt out of the tube or even some of the dead bugs. Once the insect screens and burners are clean, put them back. If the insect screens become damaged or cannot be cleaned, you should replace your burner tubes. We encourage you to review your specific grill's manual. There are monthly and annual maintenance tasks that will extend the life of your grill and keep you safe. I look forward to the next edition of Headlines Simsbury, where I will be sharing some neat tricks and tips on small repairs around your home, office, and apartment. If you have a question or topic that you would like featured on this segment, let us know. Visit our website at www.weldonhardware.com. Remember, we are at your service. Thank you, and God bless.
When the hot weather of the summer finally hits, it's good to know where you can go to cool off. The town of Simsbury would like to remind residents that the Simsbury Public Library is open Mondays to Thursdays from 9:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Also, the Senior Center, located in Eno Memorial Hall, is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The Social Services Department would like to remind residents to stay hydrated and avoid prolonged sun exposure on those especially hot days. Also, check on elderly family members or neighbors and never leave children or pets in an unattended vehicle. If you would like more information, you can contact the Social Services Department at 860-658-3600. 3283. For the third concert in the Talcott Mountain Music Festival series, join the Hartford Symphony Orchestra for Sinatra Under the Stars at the Performing Arts Center on Friday, July 12th at 7:30 p.m. with a rain date of Saturday, July 13th. Both table and lawn seating is available. For tickets, contact the Hartford Symphony Ticket Office at 860-244-2999 or online at hartfordsymphony.org. The Simsbury Land Trust is seeking financial support from the community to meet a challenge grant for the George Hall Farm preservation effort. An anonymous Simsbury donor has offered to match the first $50,000 in contributions that are made before September 1st of this year. The money will help the Simsbury Land Trust acquire an agricultural conservation easement on the George Hall Farm, the last of Simsbury's 7 remaining family farms that still is unprotected. This working farm consists of 2 separate properties, 12 acres on Old Farms Road and 38 acres between Terry's Plain and Quarry Roads, also known as Farrow's Farm. George Hall has owned and operated his farm on Old Farms Road since 1963 and has leased the Terry's Plain field from the town of Simsbury since the mid-1970s. The town has approved a proposal where George Hall would purchase Farrow's Farm from the town for $480,000 and at the same time for the Simsbury Land Trust to acquire an agricultural conservation easement on both parcels to preserve their agricultural use forever. Before leaving on your summer vacation, hear what Lisa Gray has to say about travel insurance.
Hello, I'm Lisa Gray, your host for Travel Talk. Today we're going to talk about a common dilemma faced by every traveler, whether booking yourself or through a travel consultant. Should you purchase travel insurance? That little pest of a question pops up every time you book a flight, confirm a hotel room, or reserve a rental car. It's almost become the "do you want fries with that" of travel booking. But the answer is not that simple, and every situation is different depending on the individuals traveling. As with any type of insurance, purchasing travel insurance is a precautionary measure against a possible threat. When traveling, there are any number of mishaps or flat-out disasters that could occur. Before even leaving home, you, a traveling companion, or close relative could become seriously ill, preventing you from taking your trip, but causing you to forfeit the non-refundable portion of your reservation. En route, a flight delay or cancellation could cause you to have the unexpected expenditure of a last-minute hotel room for the night, or your luggage could be delayed or lost, resulting in you having to buy clothes to get you through the first couple of days of your trip before your bags can be found and delivered to you. While enjoying your destination, a serious illness or accident may cause you to have to seek medical care, or you may be the unfortunate victim of a theft, resulting in further expense. Or you may get word from back home that a close relative has fallen seriously ill or passed away, and you must put out the unintended expense of returning home early. Over the years, I have had many unfortunate traveling mishaps, beginning with my then 7-year-old son being seriously injured in a hotel pool and requiring emergency medical care while in Mexico. A few years later, that same son became so ill with a strep infection that we spent every day of our cruise vacation in the ship's onboard hospital where he was receiving IV antibiotics. Then, when embarking on our honeymoon, my husband and I missed our flight out of JFK, couldn't get one until the next day, and consequently missed our cruise ship departing from Barcelona. We had to rent a car and drive through the night to meet the ship at its first stop in Cannes, France. 2 years ago, when 4 days before my husband and I were to depart on a trip to Puerto Vallarta, my mother underwent life-altering surgery, and I was advised by her doctors not to leave her. So, needless to say, with our string of bad luck, when I'm asked, "Would you like to purchase travel insurance?" the answer is always yes. But what about for your own situation? Accidents can happen to anyone, but travelers tend to buy insurance if they feel they are more at risk or more likely than the average policyholder to have the need to make a claim. Let's consider a couple of my own clients as examples. Mr. and Mrs. A are world travelers. Mr. A, in his 80s, has a number of health problems and is primarily confined to a wheelchair. But they don't let that keep them from their love of traveling. In fact, they plan to embark on an Alaska cruise this spring and are extending their trip several days before and after the cruise. They've booked one of the best cabins on board and have already committed a great deal of money to their trip, including their cruise fare and airfare that would be non-refundable if anything happened that would require them to cancel it or cut it short. Ms. B, on the other hand, is a single woman in her early 30s with no children who is an avid golfer. She tends to prefer domestic travel, close to home, someplace she can just throw her clubs in the back of her car and drive to for a long weekend. It's pretty clear in this scenario who should buy insurance. Your own situation may be similar to one of these or similar to mine. My husband and I are middle-aged and blessed with good health, but we have 6 children and 4 grandchildren between us, as well as 5 parents in their 70s and 80s. We're not too worried about ourselves, but if anything happened to one of our loved ones, our travel plans could change in an instant. Generally, travel insurance is sold in packages, combining various categories of coverage in different price ranges. A good travel consultant can help you determine which package is best for your particular situation, but coverage is generally inexpensive given what you stand to lose if your trip is canceled. Here is a general overview of what a travel insurance policy may cover. Medical. If your regular health insurance doesn't cover you while abroad, and many don't, you need some when you travel. Definitely check on the specifics of your own policy and make sure there are in-network hospitals in the area you are traveling to. Also, inquire about what would happen if you couldn't communicate with emergency personnel and wound up at an out-of-network facility. Many travel insurance policies will reimburse medical expenses no matter what hospital you end up at. And even if you have full coverage through your normal policy, there is almost always additional costs like deductibles that will be covered by travel insurance. If you, a traveling companion or family member, have a pre-existing medical condition, make sure you purchase a policy that covers this too. Emergency evacuation. While the need for a medical evacuation is certainly rare, the circumstances under which it's needed are unexpected and often severe. A roadway accident with serious injuries, a heart attack, a brush with nature such as an extreme weather situation or wildlife incident, or simply the worsening of an illness that suddenly transforms into a major medical emergency can have catastrophic consequences. And trying to arrange your own medical evacuation in a foreign country can be difficult, complex, and expensive. International medical evacuation typically costs $50,000 or more. Emergency evacuation coverage will reimburse the cost to transport you to the nearest treatment suitable by U.S. medical standards, transport you back to the U.S. with medical escort if needed, or transport your remains back to the U.S. in case of unexpected tragedy. So it comes down to how likely this scenario is. Are you headed to a particularly isolated region or one with below par medical care? Climbing mountains or fording rivers? Then having evacuation coverage as part of a package or separately is a good idea. Travel protection. General travel protection insurance will offer full or partial reimbursement for prepaid reservations if your trip is canceled, interrupted, or delayed. Some people rarely spend much on a trip before they leave beyond the plane ticket and maybe the first night in a hotel. But for others with expensive seats and long prepaid reservations, it makes sense to have this kind of protection. Some banks offer this coverage when you purchase your travel using their credit card, but it can sometimes be difficult to process a claim. Also, most airlines will issue a credit for the full amount paid for each ticket that is good for 1 year from the date of original purchase, not your departure date. But there is also usually a change fee of at least $150 when you go to use your credit. Baggage protection. Baggage protection insurance will reimburse you for items lost or damaged in transit and cover expenses incurred if your luggage is delayed. Again, your credit card company may offer similar coverage, but insurance can provide coverage beyond your flight for damage, loss, or theft of your belongings. Bankruptcy or default. It's rare and unfortunate, but it does happen. A company with whom you've booked your travel suddenly goes out of business and you can't get your money back. Travel insurance would reimburse you for expenses lost in this type of situation. There are also several optional coverages to consider, such as accidental death and dismemberment. If you have life insurance, it should cover this instance, but if not, It's something to think about, especially if you're traveling to a particularly risky area of the world or plan to engage in any potentially hazardous activities. Renter's collision insurance. Your regular car insurance policy probably covers you for claims within the U.S., but may not provide coverage in foreign countries. Be sure to check if you plan to rent a car in a foreign destination. Cancel for work reason insurance. If your work situation is unpredictable or uncertain, this coverage may be important to you. Work-related reasons covered for you or your traveling companion would be situations like a requirement to work during a planned vacation, a transfer to another city, a merger or acquisition, or interruption of company operations due to disaster or bankruptcy. Job loss is already a covered reason for trip cancellation interruption without the purchase of the cancel for work reasons option. Sports coverage. This covers participation in risky sports activities such as bodily contact sports, skydiving, hang gliding, parachuting, and racing that would otherwise be excluded from emergency accident and sickness medical expense. It's normally not required for emergency evacuation and repatriation of remains, which covers all sporting activities. A sports upgrade would also cover prepaid greens fees or ski passes, or equipment rentals when your own gear is delayed by the airline. Ultimately, your age, medical background, and lifestyle, and those of your traveling companions and close family members, will indicate whether travel insurance is a wise choice for you. Of course, there's one more variable. If you're a worrier and having coverage for every imaginable circumstance that may befall you will allow you to relax and enjoy your trip, then travel insurance is always a wise choice. I'm Lisa Gray, and this has been Travel Talk. If you have questions or would like more information, please contact me at 860-305-0605 or traveltalent@comcast.net. Thank you for joining me.
If you have questions about anything you see on SCTV, call us at 860-658-1720 or visit us in the lower level of Eno Memorial Hall. Consider joining our team of volunteers or support the volunteer efforts with a tax-deductible donation to the station. You can donate online at our website, simsburytv.org. That's it for this week. Remember, SCTV is your hometown station where you can produce programs for free. Thank you for joining us.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.